Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Prin Show. This is your boy Prin with another show for you this Sunday. As you see in the title, I will be discussing sci-fi movies, diving into a genre, see what's going on. I'm waiting for a couple of guests to come in the room, but before I get into it, I just want to give you a little weekly wrap up stuff that I find interesting that I want to share with you guys. Of course, if you're watching this, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So do your boy a favor. You know what I'm saying? Um, First order of attention here is Space Jam Legacy or a new legacy. It hit big at the box office, did good. Hearing a lot of things, talking about LeBron James' acting skills, which wasn't expecting too much from the brother. Also, people were referencing that it was too kiddish, but I'm trying to figure out what's the problem because it's kind of like made towards kids, anybody from the age of 5 to like 17, something in that demographic. So, let's see what we got here. King Negro. LeBron would sweep the Oscars in 2022. Hey, man, you never know how things go these days. But I do appreciate you coming through and supporting me. And hey, man, I would love to have you on my panel. So if you got some free time in the near future and I, come up with a topic that I think you might enjoy, I'll definitely reach out to you, all right? But yeah, so LeBron James, Space Jam, A New Legacy did well at the box office. The next thing that's going on is some sad news in the hip hop world with our boy Bismarck passing away. It's very unfortunate. From my understanding, he was battling diabetes. He had a really bad case of diabetes. Also, he had a stroke that was hey, there you go. How you doing?
All right, how are you?
Good, good. He had a stroke. He was battling his illness for a while. It was quite quietly kept among his family, but fortunately, he did pass away, and it's really sad to hear. For sure, hit me up my line. Okay, okay. So we were talking about Bismarck, passing of Bismarck. It's very unfortunate. Um, do you? Matter of fact, I already know that you heard some of his music, and I'm just going to assume that you enjoy rap music. So, what's your thoughts on this, and what are your fond memories on Bismarck? Hello, I think Sasha's
There
stuck.
you go. Sorry about that. I switched routers. For some
Oh,
reason, when
okay.
I get on this computer, it'll automatically pick up the router from across the street, and I have to switch it to mine.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, but so what's your thoughts on the Bismarck situation and passing away?
It's kind of sad, but at this point, I'm not even surprised because we've been losing so many people in the last year.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like every
Okay.
month is somebody else. It seems like because we're just now getting over DMX, missing DMX, and then it wasn't too long ago that we lost Prodigy. That probably was last year, but still feels kind of fresh.
Yeah. Prodigy, DMX, Craig
Hmm.
Mack, the list goes on and
Yeah.
on. Um, One thing I do want to point out, the narrative in these brothers passed away, these rappers, is the health part. Some of them have health conditions like
Hmm.
Prodigy, he was battling sickle cell. Um, I want to say some of them changed their lifestyle. I guess if you're not familiar with the locks,
Hmm.
like with the
Yeah, I
locks,
know. Yeah, I know the locks.
I think Styles P is the one who has a juice bar. In Yonkers, New York, for the last 7 years, he been eating clean, and he's a
Hmm.
vegetarian. You need to start. well, they need to start having a balance
Mm-hmm.
and transition into a healthier lifestyle, as far as like eating, dieting,
Mm-hmm.
doing some type of exercise. I mean, you don't have to be on the level of El Cool J. I mean,
Yeah.
I went around a couple of years ago with 4% body fat and the six pack looked like a Greek goddess, but it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Him and Nelly, those are like the two dudes with the like they really did that.
Yeah,
I would say Busta and Dr. Dre, but they look a little roidish to me. And I mean, I don't know how to explain that. And allegedly, so nobody gets
yeah.
mad at me, but Busta Rhymes was looking a little, maybe it's because of the trapezius muscles. A lot of times when people use steroids, their musculature takes on a less than natural look to it. And I think that's why in my mind, uh
It could be
the
genetics because I got a lot of
yeah.
professional bodybuilders at my job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's what you work on. Like they just
Mm,
showed a video of Jim Jones working out. He was doing
mm-hmm.
pull ups on the bar,
Yeah.
and his legs look like he was in a wheelchair. Like his legs were so tiny and bony.
Oh, he got a jail. We call it a jailhouse workout, where it's all upper body.
Yeah, so
There's no leg days.
But King Chorus says, "Yeah, man. Between Bismarck, DMX, and
Mm-hmm.
MF Doom, I'm all the way crushed. Yeah,
Yeah.
still a lot of brothers who played a significant part in the pioneer of hip hop
Mm-hmm.
around that time in the '90s. So you know,
To be fair, they lasted longer than a lot of these rockers.
yeah,
These rockers was going out because all the drugs, all the like we lost half of the people that did alternative. We lost lead singer of Nirvana. We lost
yeah,
lead Pearl Jam. That dude
yeah,
died.
yeah.
NXS isn't really alternative, but the lead singer them that died. They died. Like
He
the
committed
rappers.
suicide. Yeah, he committed suicide.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
rappers lasted longer than the rockers.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But
unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I think again for hip hop artists and
mhm.
rockers and stuff like that, the lifestyle. When I say the lifestyle, I'm talking about, I'm gonna focus on the drinking and drugs and stuff.
Yes,
Uh,
excess, living in excess.
yeah, eventually, like okay, like how much can you consume of this shit? You had
Hmm.
everything. You had your run. It was good. Let's not get addicted to it. All right. Because some of them do, unfortunately, and this is what happens when you're not taking care of your body, you know.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
nah, Busta Rhymes got fat shoulders. He stayed wearing those long sleeve black shirt. Busta got those optical illusion muscles.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
something didn't look right about
yeah,
him
yeah,
when you compare it to LL Cool J or Nelly.
yeah.
Speaking of King Thor, I just watched his video, and I know Prim is going to remember this because he's old enough to. Um, King Needs Gore is only in his 20s. He's in his mid 20s, and
Okay.
he does these videos called "Have You Seen This Shit?" And the last one he did was about Romper Room. You
Wow.
remember Romper Room? And seeing
Really?
his reaction to Romper Room it's interesting seeing it from the point of view of someone who's much younger. But he
Yeah.
also got into this story about the woman that was the teacher character on Romper Room.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know her backstory. She had this whole backstory about taking this medicine. I can't pronounce it, but it was a medicine that was given to women in the 1960s that was supposed to alleviate morning sickness, but it caused extreme birth defects. And she had a whole court case of where she was trying to have an abortion because her baby was, extremely like
Deformed.
yeah. And her husband, I believe her husband was fight. King, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe her husband was fighting her in court to try to keep her from having the abortion.
Hmm.
And then when she ended up winning the court case, and when they did, they had, she was so far along in her pregnancy, they had to pretty much deliver the baby type of
Hmm.
abortion. And it was so malformed, they couldn't even tell what sex the baby was. Like it had no legs, one arm. It was a mess. The court case for that drug that they had given to those pregnant women is still going on 50 years later. And those children are in their late 50s, maybe early 60s.
Wow. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna I'm gonna keep
But
it.
I always was waiting for my name to be called on Romper Room, and it never was because my name's not in English. And
That's funny. But yeah, man, that's cool that he's checking out some of those older stuff that we grew up on and stuff. That
Mhm.
I appreciate that. A lot of there's some channels on YouTube that there's the younger generation, and it's called First Time Reacting to Hip Hop, Rock and Roll.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, and then on Clubhouse, I usually join. I think I joined one or two of them where the
Mhm.
younger group with the younger generation will pick a movie on YouTube and we'll click at the same time and we'll watch it and discuss the movie.
Oh, that's cool. I got to
So
do that.
yeah, so I've been doing that with them, and these guys are very knowledgeable,
Mm-hmm.
very, very knowledgeable. So he writes, husbands on her side, the rest of America, males were
Males
not.
were not.
He had to go to Sweden for the operation. They tried to ruin her life because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha, I'll call your name when I.
Reboot. What's funny is I had never seen. He showed the original Romper Room it was in black and white. I didn't know that. I only knew like the one that came on. Probably
Saturday
19.
morning.
I don't remember what time it came on because I was about 3 or 4 years old. So
Oh,
my memory of it is from like 1978, 1979. So it was
gotcha.
already in color and the kids had bell bottoms on. And I think the purpose of it was to prepare toddlers for preschool or for school
Mhm.
because when you look back at it, her whole setup was like a classroom and how she talked to the kids.
Yeah, it's funny because I just took my daughter to a animation museum in
Mm-hmm.
Chester, and they had a lot of old animation and stuff. And she picked out this T-shirt that she's wanting. I said, "You know what that?" She said, "Yeah, that's Gumby, Dad. I know about Gumby."
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, "What?" So I got her the T-shirt. So she has a little cool Gumby T-shirt that I got her at the museum. But the museum's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have to put some of the pictures on my Facebook. But yeah, I really want to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
You might have Night Watch come in later on. I think Vega Barber say he want to join the panel.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he can make it.
One day you got to have King Nate Gore come on.
Yeah,
Have
I
him.
just told him that too. Yeah, I just mentioned that to him. It says it's been around for like 50 years plus. That's so crazy. Y'all watch this 70, 80 shows. Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
David and Goliath. I mean, we grew up on some
Mm-hmm.
stuff back in the days. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Did I mention this to you before? This is regarding the young people watching first time watches. There are some great videos from Gen Z's
Mm,
first time watches of RoboCop. Their reaction to RoboCop is so good.
yeah. Mm. So, you know what? When it comes
You,
to RoboCop, one of my coworkers, that was my daughter and them,
mm-hmm,
was talking about it, and they're younger, right? And it's
mm-hmm,
like, yeah, man, I finally seen this thing, RoboCop. It was real graphic, this, and that. Matter of fact, there's something that I put on my Instagram that's referring to Gen X, how we had certain things and they had
mm-hmm,
certain things, and our stuff was more violent.
mm-hmm.
So the guy said we didn't choose violent, we just was violent, but not in that type of way. I guess you gotta check out my Instagram. I have to tag you into it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, we grew up watching some like Invasion USA, Rambo,
we had GI
Terminator, like
Joe.
explosions for days.
I mean, they got what is it? What's that video where they just be dancing all the time?
What is
Madison, what is that video game that y'all watch? You got this dance.
Oh, the Just Dance video game. Yeah.
Yeah, Just Dance, and what's the other one? Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite. Sasha, we had Mortal Kombat. What are you talking about? We was ripping
Well,
spines.
to be fair, we did have Super Mario Brothers at the same time, so you had a choice. You could play Super Mario Brothers, or you could rip somebody's spine out.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you
don't
go.
forget Soul Calibur. Do you remember Soul Calibur?
That's my favorite game.
Mm-hmm.
And Tekken.
Yes.
Yeah,
And Street Fighter. I used to be able to play Street Fighter on the stand up arcade machine because back when I used to work in a movie theater, you know how the movie theaters used to have that arcade in the corner.
Yeah.
And whenever I'd go on break, I'd go play Street Fighter in the arcade.
Then they had a Street Fighter versus Capcom, other characters too. And then they had Marvel. Yeah, I don't remember that. But What are some of your thoughts on sci-fi movies? Because when you think of sci-fi movie, it goes in different genres. You know, what I'm saying it can go to them creating stuff or time traveling, or you can
Hmm.
go to the
I
aliens or stuff like that. So, what's your thoughts on that when you think
I
of
grew
sci-fi?
up in a science fiction household. my
Okay.
mother my mother is a Trekkie, and
Mhm.
she took me to my first convention, was a Star Trek convention, and she also was into like Babylon 5. Let me think. Where my father is, I don't know what you call people that are into Doctor Who, but
Hey,
I
there's
hear
your
the
coin
theme
for it.
song. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a term. They call themselves something, but I forgot what it is, but Doctor Who was always on in the house. And then because I'm older, I remember Buck Rogers, watching Buck Rogers on television. Don't
Mhm.
try to watch it again as an adult because it is so bad. It's so bad. The fight scenes they're like Dolomite bad. That
So,
dude could not kick or punch for anything. But and
back in the
and
days, that's
and
what.
Battlestar Galactica. I remember watching Battlestar Galactica, and no Cylons scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. I was never afraid of the stormtroopers, but I was afraid of those Cylons.
Yeah, yeah, because they had that noise and that look. Yeah.
Yeah, and the light that went back and forth. And then
Mhm.
we had Knight Rider come on. I remember being at my aunt's house, so me and my cousins are all in front of the TV waiting for Knight Rider to come on.
Kit. Yep. Kit.
Hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Grew up
And
watching sci-fi, and
alcohol.
then uh, I think the first sci-fi movie I saw in the theater that I have full conscious memory of is Dune from 1984. My mother took the whole family. My dad, I don't think my dad was too into Dune, but he still went along and watched it because
Hmm.
he likes more action oriented sci-fi. Aside from Doctor Who, which doesn't have a whole lot of action, but he was more Star Wars or the sword and sorcery stuff. Like my dad was the one that he's gonna take you to see Excalibur, Conan the
Hmm.
Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. I'm trying to think of the other ones we went to see. The
Hey,
Sword
Mega
and
Bomber.
Sorcerer.
How you doing? Let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I think you're frozen, Vega Bomber.
No, he's moving. He gotta get his sound up a little bit. So and say hi to people.
Test, test. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can hear
can
you.
hear you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, beautiful?
Good. How are you?
All right.
That's little mama. That's the
Mhm.
daughter right there. Okay. So Mega Bomber, I'm glad you made it. How are things going with you?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
How about that? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, nice and clear.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah. So how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm inside. There's air conditioning. It's hot outside, but I'm inside.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So what we was talking about is what's your thoughts when you think of sci-fi movie? What comes to mind?
ooh, fantasy, um, science that kind of stretches your mind into thinking this could be possible, maybe. But mostly with sci-fi, I think it's just the idea of just getting some stretching the bounds of science into saying, look at this fantasy, look what we could create with this if we see it from this perspective.
Okay. So my when I think of sci-fi, I think of the two words science and fiction and how they form the two together. So they're building off of science stuff and they're basically saying what could be and what can be if this can happen. So that's where the fiction come in at. But I definitely want to ask you guys about some of the classic sci-fi movies that you grew up with. Like for me, of course, the go-to one is Star Wars, but also I want to say Close Encounters of the Third Kind was a good
Mm-hmm.
one that I enjoyed. Even E.T. So, what are some of your sci-fi classic movies? I'm gonna start off with Lady Sasha.
Oh, I was just thinking about that scene in Close Encounters of the Third Kind when the little boy got sucked through the doggy door. That scared me when I was a kid. That really scared me. Favorite sci-fi movies. Well, since I tend to like the alien that fish out of water type of stories, like
Okay.
the brother from another planet.
Oh, you
Um,
took it back on that
yeah,
one.
the man who fell to Earth, which was with David Bowie. Um, More recently, they've made some similar movies like Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson that was took place in Edinburgh, Scotland,
Okay.
and there was a new one that just dropped maybe a month or two ago called Fried Berry, which is about this heroin addict who basically gets his
Oh yeah,
body
yeah,
taken
yeah.
over by
That's on
alien.
Shutter.
Yeah.
On Shutter. Do you remember Repo Man?
I have not seen Repo Man since I was a kid, so I have I remember seeing it, but I don't really remember too much about it.
Yeah, I think that was Emilio Estevez's first movie. Yeah, that was a nice one. Vega Bomber. So, what are some of your thoughts when you think of some classic sci-fi movie?
Yeah, I think Close Encounters was one that was pretty interesting to me. I definitely liked Alien, although some people could argue it's more of a horror, space type genre. But I think there's some elements to Alien, and I loved those. And of course, I can't get away from Star Wars, although again, there's some arguments to whether that's sci-fi or whether that's just science fantasy, right? But I loved it. I thought that was great. I love the story of Luke Skywalker and just the whole idea that it was a story about him and his dad, which is what it's about.
So, I definitely like your guys' reply to the question. For me, when I think of sci-fi in general, I think of technology, some stuff that people put together. I think of aliens. I think of stuff like anything that's not really feasible now, but will be in the near future, but they just displayed in the movie. I would call that sci-fi, science and fiction. Wherever the cutting edge of science we're doing now, they're saying, well, what about this and what we could be doing, So that's my thing when it comes to sci-fi, plus aliens. So let's see what's going on here. Rise of Planet of the Apes. So what's your thoughts on this one right here?
What's this? Rise of.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a huge fan of the Planet of the Apes movies, not the originals or the new ones. They're just okay to me, but I'm just don't get. But something about it just doesn't stick with me.
Really?
Yeah, I just never been into them.
Wow.
The older ones and the new generation? Wow, that's okay. So let me go to Vega Bomber. What's your thoughts on these? I enjoyed them.
Yeah, in fact, I'm actually surprised. To me, the the new ones actually are, if you want to count in terms of trilogies, they're in the top 5 of the best trilogies, right? So if you look at the second one, for example, it's just as powerful as The Empire Strikes Back was to Star Wars. That second one, and I love how they were showing the difference between how some people treat people who are different, which we know it's an allegory for how people treat people of different races. So I love the way it handled that, but then use these strong characters. And I would say in that second one, you had a great villain. And Prim knows I love good villains. And Koba was a bad boy in that film. So when he came and kicked Caesar's ass, and then you started going, damn, what's happening? What's going on here? You think about how the Empire was winning in Empire Strikes Back. So really, that trilogy kind of goes under. The third one, I can agree with you for sure. The third one maybe lost a little bit of steam, but to me, that second was pretty good.
Yeah, and actually, that's the director who's doing the new Batman movie. King Gore writes Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy. I love those funky 60s and 70s sci-fi movies. The more trippier, the better.
Yeah.
I think you were born in the wrong decade. I think you should have been born with us in the 70s. So you appreciate that stuff.
I have a suggestion for King Gore to watch. You got to find this movie that's made by this jazz musician named Sun Ra, and it's called Space is the Place. You like trippy.
Or even Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon. Okay. So we got another one for you. Terminator.
Oh yeah. That is a sci-fi movie and also a slasher movie.
Yeah, I give you that. Vega Bomber.
Yeah, no, I loved that film. That film was one of my favorite films as well. And I was thinking about it, but it's like when you see Arnold Schwarzenegger show up there, and it's like he's kind of like doing what Keanu Reeves did for Matrix. He doesn't have to do a lot of great acting. He just needs to show up and be a presence, and he is in those films. I completely loved it.
Yeah, it's funny because James Cameron was on Piranha Part 2, directing that. He got fired. So he went and kind of basically scraped up this money to make this movie, Terminator. It was on a shoestring budget, and it hit. And it
yes, it did.
That's the start of his career, making movies. So this one right here, I really enjoyed. A lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was excellent. Oblivion. for a sci-fi movie. Have you seen this one, guys?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen
Really?
it. I've seen it, but it's been a long time ago.
Yeah. The premise is good. Since you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Mhm.
But it dives in technology. It dives into society and what's going on far as how we destroy the world due to our greed and stuff like that. So it has that social commentary in it. It has some good acting. Of course, Morgan Freeman, he already bring his A game, and Tom Cruise is solid.
Mhm.
And the special effects is real clean, very clean special effects. It's very well shot movie. It looks like it's in 4K before 4K even came out. It's just a really nice movie. So if you haven't seen it, treat yourself to it. You will really enjoy Oblivion. The next one had the best advertisement that I seen in a while. And
Oh, Cloverfield. Yeah.
Cloverfield. So what's your thoughts on this one, guys? I will start off with Vega Bomber.
Cloverfield. That was one that I watched it, but I guess it's kind of like how Lady Sasha was with the Planet of the Apes. I kind of was a little underwhelmed, but I didn't think it was bad. It's just it was one that just never took with me for some reason. But I could see that it definitely has its merits. It's definitely not a bad film.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. It was like it wasn't a big budget, but it was well made. But the advertisement, the way it is promote the movie, really sold it. We got Tony Man in here, and he said, "What's up, guys? Sasha's using the old background."
Yeah, I switched to my desktop computer instead of laptop, and just because the sunlight is coming through the window this way, and this is my original YouTube background. It's a poster board like for presentations. I used to put it up.
Okay.
Low tech, but Cloverfield. I like the premise of the movie. I didn't like the characters. Like this girl was so annoying. I didn't know why he wanted to save her. I didn't like her. I want to save that girl. Also,
I think Sasha gonna leave somebody. She like once, going twice.
And there was too much shaky cam. But one of the best sequences was the subway sequence. That was really well done when they were in the subway and those little creatures were chasing them.
Yeah,
and of course the Statue of Liberty's head rolling down the block. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. So I love.
Oh, you remember her name?
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yep, yeah. So the next one we have here is Minority Report. What's your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was pretty good. I like the premise.
It was
sorry,
good. I definitely
started talking early.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it was pretty good. I like the premise, especially of trying to prevent future crimes, which we kind of explored again in Loki with the lady Loki. That they got her for the same reason. They captured her when she was a child before she did anything wrong, just because they knew she was going to grow up and do something wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of like entrapment, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to go down that road.
Especially since factors can change in her life that change the trajectory of what path she takes. So it's very hard to say, okay, this person's going to grow up and become a criminal. Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be one little minute change in her life that prevents her from becoming a criminal.
True. So there's another one that I definitely enjoy. I'm not sure if Vagabond has seen this one, but Lady Sasha, I know you've seen it.
Oh yeah, Q.
Yeah, no, this was good. I mean, I think some people don't recognize that it was directed by Steven Spielberg, written by a story by Philip Dick. So no, this was a great film, setting it like into 2054. And so I thought, when I saw this, I was like, man, you talk about an intelligent, smart science fiction movie. This one had that in the way the plots were set up, the way they were intertwined. And then Spielberg, there's going to be action. Pause, and then there'll be some dramatic action, and then some more action, and then pause. Right, he has this kind of rhythm that Lucas talks about, and you can see it in Minority Report. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. When I first seen it, I didn't know about it, but I just happened to catch it at the beginning, and it just sucked me in, man. You know what I'm saying? It was well written, well shot. It was a shoestring budget, but they did what they needed to do, and it turned into a series, and I enjoyed most of the series. I wouldn't mind seeing them bring it back again. But I don't want it to be cheesy. I just wanted to have the same tone as the first one that I seen. Lady Sasha, what's your thoughts on Cube?
I think that it started a whole new trend. I think without Cube, I don't think we would have had Saw. I don't think we would have these escape room movies. I think it has a lot of Cube has a lot of sons floating around here.
Okay. I definitely will give you that. So let's go to one movie that changed the course of sci-fi a little bit in the 90s, and that is The
Oh
Matrix.
yes.
So what's your thoughts on that, Vega Bomber?
Well, I loved the
The
Matrix.
first Matrix.
I thought the first one, yep, the first one was great. When I went to go see the second one, the theater broke down. I was mad and it got hot in there, and I just said I need my money back for the tickets, and then that kept me from seeing the second one, third one. But other people told me I didn't miss anything. But Keanu Reeves come back out playing something other than Bill and Ted's, and just how smart it was written in the first place about how the whole red pill, blue pill, and then seeing Lawrence Fishburne, right? Because you always see Samuel Jackson in all these types of movies like this.
Mhm.
Samuel Jackson's got his fingerprints in almost everything, but I actually am kind of getting a little fatigued for Sam, if that's possible. But I love the focus that you see on Fishburne in this, and he's solid in this as this other, the second fiddle to, Keanu Reeves. So I love the Matrix. I thought it was great. Now I will say this: I actually like the movie Equilibrium a little bit better. Along with Christian.
Yeah, Christian Slater and Tay Diggs. Yeah, great movie.
It was Christian Bale. It was Batman.
Yeah, Christian Bell, and Tay Diggs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you seen that one, Equilibrium, Sasha?
I haven't seen Equilibrium, but I will say one thing about the Matrix. I think we talked about this when we talked about the summer blockbusters.
Yeah.
But Neo was originally the person they wanted to play Neo was Will Smith, and he turned it down to be in Wild Wild West.
Wild
Yeah.
West, yes.
So it would have been a almost fully black sci-fi movie if it was Will Smith and Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah. Back then, it was two they considered a black movie. So this one right here that I'm about to share with you guys. This one was very deep, and this director loves dealing with time, and he got it down pat. So, what's your thoughts on this? Inception.
I like the set pieces, the fight scenes, but I never rewatched the movie because I was mostly bored by it.
Vega Bomber.
Yeah, the thing with this particular movie, I'm not far behind you, Lady Sasha. I love characters, and that's one of the things that Christopher Nolan struggles with is actually giving you good characterization. He's great at imagining worlds. I would even say a little better than Lucas on some levels in terms of imagining a whole world building class. So he does that. But the problem is, just like with Tenet, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, so you did that. Okay, so the time can bend that way. Okay, so y'all did that. And at some point, I guess maybe after The Matrix, it's hard to see people doing the whole leaning back and you're doing that at some point because I just don't feel it. I don't feel the characters. I don't feel any soul. I get lots of visual stimulation. I just don't feel any soul sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to balance and having actors to really absorb in these characters. I really take it and sell it. I think that's something that's tricky when it comes to action movies, Vega Bomber and Sasha. If you don't have a good balance, then it's going to end up being a special effects, like another set piece, and another set piece. And we don't want that. We don't want that. Unless it's the Fast and Furious, then I have no problem with that.
I'm only here for the action set pieces that defy gravity and physics.
So, what do you think about this one?
I love it.
Oh,
yes.
Love it.
Yeah, I thought this was a well-written movie, well shot. The lady who played the AI. Yeah. Oh, was it the theaters and seen this one?
I've seen this one, yeah. I love this one. So Deus Ex Machina, so you have Oscar Isaac in it from Force Awakens, everybody. So you have him in it, and then you have Domhnall Gleeson who plays Hux in the same Star Wars series that he's in. And then you have Alice Vikander here. And so I thought the whole idea of telling you, through her eyes, the actual robot or computer or whatever, that you start to see it from her perspective, and that was the best way to tell it from. If they'd have told it from the perspective of Domhnall Gleeson's character or Oscar Isaac, it may not have carried, and you might have thought, well, that's kind of phony. But the idea that, is she telling him the truth? Has she really been abused? Are you going to help her? If not, if he's really so it made you ask a lot of questions. So Deus Ex Machina, yeah, absolutely one of my faves.
And you know what? I'm gonna have to co-sign that, but the next one I do is gonna be about writers, because I think writers really help push the story. And in that movie, who wrote that, the dialogue was on point. I mean, I was intrigued. I was sold to it. And like you said, I wasn't sure myself. Like, was it true? Was it not? So, yeah, I think that's the next one I'm going to do. I'm just talking about writers on my next Sunday thing. I'm not sure when. So, Lady Sasha, what you thought about the movie?
I really enjoyed it. It was well written. I think the pacing was really good. I never felt like I was bored, despite the fact that it's a very talk-heavy movie. The characters, you really got to feel for their personalities. I really like Oscar Isaac's character because he does what I would have done if I was a billionaire. I would definitely have a discotheque in my house because, and I love how he had. Well, I don't want to. I can't talk about that scene because that's a spoiler. But yeah, if you haven't seen Ex Machina, definitely check it out. Especially if you like Black Mirror, if you like the Twilight Zone, it will be up your alley.
There it is. I'm at the co-sign that. And, you know, when you get a really good script with good dialogue and some actors that can really act, it's like a perfect combination right there, along with the directors and shooting it. So, come to think about it, it's really hard to get the right ingredients to make a damn near perfect movie. And that one is damn near perfect. So, yeah.
It's true. And you know why that's helped out, Prim, is by the fact that the same person who directed it, Alex Garland, also wrote the screenplay. So whenever you see somebody with that kind of talent where they can both direct and write the screenplay, that's solid. That's a person that you got to hire for a lot of movies. That's what Taylor Sheridan does. He's great at it, you know. So he wrote, as you know, Sicario, and then he turned around and he wrote Hell or High Water. And so if you get a writer who understands dialogue, understands people, and then understands people in the context of the story that's being told, then you do great when you do that. And so Alex Garland just came out of nowhere. He said, let me show y'all how to direct. Let me show y'all how to write a screenplay. And then let me show y'all I know how to cast, too, and get people in here. And then boom.
And yeah, and like I said, I think that's a talent in itself.
Yeah, because I was just criticizing Zack Snyder for that, because when he's working with another person's script, he does an amazing job. But when he writes it himself,
him and his wife,
it's like
trash. And I'll be the first one to say that the daughter in Army of Darkness. You know, I get the first couple minutes in the movie where there's an issue that has to be resolved and get a relationship back with your father. But through the whole movie, everybody that you interact with and then some of the stuff that you did was so dumb and then you survive. Like, I'm not. Yeah,
that pissed me off. That first lady, the Latina with the red headband, you're gonna kill her off, but make me believe that daughter would survive and this girl wouldn't? No.
Yeah, we ain't here for that.
No, the best daughter was in the Tomorrow War. His daughter, when she was on the top of the tank shooting while he was driving, that's the daughter that you want in this type of situation.
And funny that you say that, but what do you think about this movie?
Edge of Tomorrow, also called Live Die. Yeah, Live Die Repeat was it's on some of the DVDs. I just say Live Die Repeat as the title instead of Edge of Tomorrow. I can't remember what the backstory is on that, but it was an interesting movie.
Yeah, the backstory is a manga, right? It's a manga book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Book that came out. And what happened was somewhere when they were doing the advertisement, they went with the manga, and then they went with the American. Well, not the director. He's from France, but he made a movie in Hollywood and had that title, so you get both. It was a big oops that I'd never seen before, but yeah, I definitely enjoyed the movie. I think it's the same director who did Oblivion. There's something else that he did, but again, like, it was a good script. He casted the right people, Emily Blunt and Tom Cruise with other people in there. Actually, the crew or his platoon, some of the main people around him, were all London and French actors, and the light skinned guys from Attack the Block. Just to give a little
Mhm.
FYI there.
Mhm.
So I'm going down to Vagabond. What's your thoughts on this movie?
I think this movie is definitely it's action packed. There's moments that have extreme intensity in it, which you can buy. I think you can buy some of the intensity. It is clever with the visuals. I thought Emily Blunt really sold the fact that she can actually do action, and she's not just another face that you just look at that your eyes are drawn to. Some people would say, like when I saw her doing these stunts, and it looked like she did a lot of her own stunts. That's what it looked like. Or else that double was just the perfect shape, size, and everything.
Mhm.
But what stood out to me wasn't so much Tom Cruise, although he wasn't wrong or bad at anything he did. It was just, look at Emily Blunt go. I mean, dang, she's hanging right there with him with all the stunts and everything else, and she was just as intense when the scenes called for it. So I didn't see a drop off. So that's what I remembered from the movie.
And I think another thing too, what you just said, I was going to elaborate on. They made sure that she was equal in that movie with Tom Cruise. She's not a big bill as Tom Cruise, like an A-lister, but they gave her a good screen time and they shared it right. And that's the way I want to see women portray in movies, like, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
on that level. So I definitely appreciate that. But Lady Sasha, what's your thought on it?
I thought it was okay. I liked how she I like how she kept kicking his butt the first, like when he first didn't believe what was going on, and she just kept on kicking his butt until
Training them? Yeah.
until he realized that this is real, this is a real thing that's happening.
Yeah. It's basically like a Groundhog Day.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more advanced with aliens and stuff. So
And Tom Cruise always plays Tom Cruise except for one time, and that was an interview with a vampire. He actually played a different character, but any other time he's just Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's true.
and you know what movie I like? I don't know, I might get some hate for it. Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, he did do well in that. Yeah,
I enjoy Vanilla Sky.
I call people Vanilla Sky people. Like when I'll be like, that's a Vanilla Sky MF, which is for people who haven't seen Vanilla Sky. It's about this gentleman. I believe he was either an actor or a model or both, and his whole life is based on his looks and his outward persona, but not his real personality. And then he gets into this horrific car accident that wrecks his face, and he finds out who his real friends are, which is basically nobody, because they were all hangers on just because of his fame and notoriety. So when I see a person that is only just all about their looks, but they have nothing to say, they have no personality, I call them a Vanilla Sky person.
Yeah, no content to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys already know what this is coming up.
Mm.
You see it.
Oh.
And I'm looking at Vega Bomber.
Oh.
You ready?
Yeah.
Lady Sasha.
I don't know. I don't feel as confident in this.
Okay. This is easy. Like I said, these are really to have fun and enjoy. So the first one is, what alien ate Reese's Pieces?
Oh, okay. I know that one.
There you go.
Yeah, what he said. Mm-hmm.
There you go. Name a movie that has Galaxy in the movie title.
Galaxy Quest?
Vega Bomber?
Oh boy. 2001 Space Galaxy? Odyssey. No, it's Odyssey.
Yeah.
No,
It's Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Okay. The next one is, what movie director made movies for 2 sci-fi movie franchise?
James Cameron, because he made Aliens and he made The Terminator.
Avatar.
Oh, and Avatar. So he did 3, yeah.
Yeah. See? Sounds
Wait,
like
didn't he
fun.
also do? He did an underwater one too. I
It wasn't
forget
his
which
favorite,
was it.
though.
Was it Leviathan or
No, it was
Deep Rising?
Abyss. It was
The Abyss.
Yeah.
There was like 5 of those movies that all came out within 1989 and 1990.
Yep.
Mhm.
What's the name of the ship in Star Trek?
The Enterprise.
Enterprise.
There you go.
The USS.
Or the USS Enterprise.
Mhm.
What 2 movie franchises made a crossover movie?
Alien versus Predator.
There it is.
That is.
There it
Yes,
is.
sir. Yes, ma'am.
How many sci-fi movies can you name? I'm gonna go with
Oh,
you,
we're
Lady
gonna-
Sasha.
We're gonna be here for a while. How far are we going back? We can say Lost in Space. Oh, see, Tony Man said Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't even think about that one. But that's more sci-fi comic book, maybe. Well, a lot of comic book
Sci-fi.
movies are sci-fi movies. When you think
It's
about it, a
sci-fi.
lot of
It's out in space. I consider
well,
it
okay.
sci-fi.
Naming the sci-fi movies. Let's go with all the Star Treks, like the Voyage Home, all the Star Wars movies.
Mhm.
What else? I said Dune before.
You got 15 seconds.
Okay, Close Encounters. The man. These are named. I'm gonna name the ones already named already. The Man Who Fell to Earth. The Brother from Another Planet.
Do, 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 do.
I'm drawing a blank because I can't take the pressure.
Okay. So Vagabond, I'm gonna come to you. You name some sci-fi movies.
So we have Oblivion, Midnight Special, Enemy Mine.
Oh, that was a good
Tomorrow
one.
War, Cosmic Sin. Gosh. I don't know if I can name the Star Wars, Star Trek movies, but you have to mention those. You have to go with Space Odyssey, War Games. Remember that one with the computer? That's sci-fi. Then, of course, the Planet of the Apes are sci-fi. So all of those, they're early ones, the TV series in this. The Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. And, of course, you can mention all the Marvel films as well. But, wow, I'm trying to think. Arrival with, what's her face? I remember that. Annihilation. Annihilation. Godzilla.
Why did I?
Oh, gosh, Godzilla. Is sci-fi, right? Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and the new one, right? Ready Player One that came out 2013.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Maze Runner. Yeah.
As he's saying them, I'm thinking of more in my head because when he said Arrival, I thought Contact. When he said Enemy Mine, I thought Last Starfighter. I don't know why he's naming them, and now they're finally popping into my head.
Remember Chappie?
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't like it, but I think they did get the point of it.
I think Divergent, Super 8 had the aliens.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, Mad Max. Yeah, that's a good one. The Road Warrior and Mad Max. I can't believe I didn't say that.
So that's a round right
People
there.
are putting them in the chat.
So that's a round right there because I shortened it. I want to do something new here. I'm gonna start off with you guys with director spotlight, James Cameron. So every Sunday we will talk about one director and we'll get into his pros and cons, what he's good at, what he's not good at, overall his movies and what he's doing recently or coming out. I think I would start off with Vagabomber. What's your thoughts on James Cameron and his body of work?
Let's see. I think he's the guy you can pull in that will give you a big epic, like a big film that if you need it to be sci-fi, need it to be big. I think he can do that. I don't think he could put it like in a house and do what they did with E.T. and that sort of thing and just have him only go in the neighborhood. So everything has to be big and sprawling with him. I think he's very like Lucas. He's definitely the fantasy guy. So he's the guy that will imagine these elements. I don't know that his stories are always as tight sometimes, but I mean, you can't be good at everything, right? His stories are fine. Where they are derivatives of where they came from. Like Avatar comes from a lot of different things. Let's see, and I don't know. With Titanic, I got to give him props. Whoever thought that would be the movie that it was that dethroned Star Wars as a top grossing movie.
Yeah.
It stayed at the top for a long time until he then broke it with Avatar. So you have to give him props for that, I guess, from that side. So,
and he got the Terminator series too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on him, Lady Sasha?
I worked at the movie theater when Titanic came out, and it stayed at the movie theater for 8 months because there were people that came. There was one group of ladies. They came to watch it like every weekend. And I didn't understand why they would just come to watch Titanic every weekend. Now, here's the thing that you guys are going to get on me about. I've never watched Titanic.
It's okay. It's
I already
okay.
know how it ends. So
I've never seen it all the way through. I've
Yeah.
always fallen asleep with it. Whoever I was dating at the time,
Mhm.
I would watch it just to be nice because I made her watch a bunch of mafia films. So
Mhm.
and I could never get all the way through it. Was it 3 hours? It's long.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, we used to have it playing and I think when it first dropped, we had it in 3 theaters. Then we dropped it down to 2 theaters.
Mhm.
But it was in the movie theater, first run movie theater for 8 months straight, just making money.
That's a hell of a run right there.
I do enjoy James Cameron's Aliens because he put more action into it. Although I really love Alien more now as an adult than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I liked Aliens better than Alien. But as an adult, I like them both equally. They're just two different, kind of like two different versions of the same story, but one is more cerebral and one is more action, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I recently rewatched The Abyss, even though I still confused it with the Leviathan because I watched them both in the same day. Because that's how I found out that there was 5 of these movies. So I was looking up because I remember these underwater movies when I was a kid, and I was like, well, what was that underwater movie? And when I looked them up, that's when I found The Abyss, Leviathan, Deep Rising. It was like there was 2 more. I can't remember the names of them, but they all came out.
With Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, Virus. And they all came out in 89 or 90, like within a 1-year period. They were all chasing that same thing. What I end up finding out is that it was announced that James Cameron was going to do The Abyss. So all these other movie companies tried to rush out a similar story to try to beat his movie.
Yeah, and that didn't work.
No.
So, when I think of James Cameron, I think of his body of work, which is really not that much, but he's very successful. He's one of few directors who come out far in between and just made blockbuster hits that's in the top 10 of all time. So it's very rare to get directors like that. I'm hearing working for him, he's a taskmaster. Like, he's very serious, very don't take no junk. So those prima donna actors or actors that come on his set that didn't get the memo on how he runs his show, his production, they get a waking call. Case in point, Megan Fox, where he shut her career down for a little bit, and she's just starting to get back in the game from the Transformer series. It was unfortunate what she said, but
the thing is, he's kind of an ass for that because when she was in the Transformer series, the first one, she was 16 years old. So that's a child.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the way he sexualized her is not cool either. For her to be, really, I blame him and her parents, because if my child was 16 years old, you're not bending her over a car and shooting a camera up her skirt and all this business. No.
Oh, well, when it comes to that, let's talk about that. James Cameron definitely pumps beautiful woman and American military theme in his movies.
I wouldn't mind if he used an actual woman, but that was a child.
Yeah.
He could have easily got a 19, 20-year-old woman.
Yeah,
but he got a 16-year-old child and then tried to ruin her career because she didn't live up to whatever standards he has for a 16-year-old child to live up to, I just thought.
Oh, no, it was her comment that she said when she was older. That's what he had a fallout with her. I guess he said something about Hitler and him. She was saying he's equivalent to Hitler and all that stuff, and that got her kicked out.
Oh, yeah, that's hyperbole. Like he's not killing people.
Yeah, so that got him. But, going back to what you said about the camera angles and all that, I definitely have a love-hate relationship with the Transformer movies, which is sci-fi, by the way. I noticed that when I did watch the Transformer movie, I'm like, okay, for this to be geared toward the demographic of kids, this is a little bit steamy, a little bit too much. But that stayed in narrative through all the movies. He always replaced that It girl with another It model, latest model, and he was always have those camera scenes and angles in there and stuff.
Wait, you said Transformers? Isn't that Michael Bay? And not James? Yeah, that's not James Cameron.
Okay,
it's Michael Bay. My bad. I should have noticed that right away. And Michael Bay is a poor man's Jerry Bruckheimer. I said it. He wants to be Jerry Bruckheimer so bad he can't do it.
All right. You know what? Okay.
Go watch Bad Boys. Watch Bad Boys. That's the feeling he wanted to get. Or even go back and watch the original. Okay, take it with a grain of salt because I'm of a certain generation. There's like if King need gore right now since he's younger, if he were to go and watch Miami Vice today, he might think it kind of sucks. But when I was a kid, Miami Vice was it. Like I loved it.
Yeah. So King Nigor says she was a youngster when she made the Hitler statement, or no? No, actually, she just got married from that to the actor from 90210. I think it was the second or third one when she made a comment. I think it was a two-part thing. One was him, and the other part is run by the Jewish community. So that right there, they definitely have cardinal rule that you're not going to break. Well, have some consequences, and that's one of the consequences where she sat out a while from Hollywood until she was like, you know, back into the graces of them. So that's how that worked out.
I say we're doing the same thing because I do that when people make the comment that they're starving or say I'm doing such and such like a slave. Don't say that in front of me. Don't compare yourself to a slave in front of me because I'm going to have to tell you about yourself. There's certain things that we need to shut down too.
Well, you know, when it comes to that, I'm gonna have to co-sign what you said, and we're gonna have to do what other people do, is just have a cardinal rule and stuff like that. I get it, and when it comes to acting, it's a great area because you're acting, and you should be able to play slaves, play a gay person, play whatever the case may be, wherever that character is, to be in that movie. But at the same time, it depends on the balance of the demographic and the culture and all that stuff. It's unfortunate, but
no, what I mean is that it as a matter of speaking, like some people will casually say, "Oh, I was working like a slave." No, you were not working like a slave. You were getting paid. So don't. You were not kidnapped. So don't use that as a colloquialism. Is what I'm saying. Just like how she used the whole, "Oh, he's like Hitler." No, he wasn't like Hitler at all. Yeah, he might have been an asshole, but he wasn't like Hitler. Come on.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing too. When people use different terms and stuff like that, like I will say plantation. People say we're gonna go on the plantation.
Oh yeah, I heard that before. Yeah,
so I said I'm on the plantation, right? So stuff like that. But even me saying that jokingly, like you said, it will offend somebody, which that's not really on purpose. Stuff like that. There's a lot of things for everybody that could be pet peeves. People use words out of context.
Oh yeah.
So forth and so on. But when it comes to James Cameron, again, he's one of the few directors that makes movies far in between, and they always end up in the top 10 of all time. Box office movie, and he invents technology to make his movies. How about that? Like Avatar and all that. He said, I got time.
He pulled a George Lucas with that. George Lucas came up with his own. He was like, okay, I need special effects. I'm going to create industrial light and magic because I need these effects done.
That's true. When you look at,
I don't like Armageddon, Tony, man. Armageddon is terrible.
Yeah,
and I can't. I worked at the movie theater when it came out, and I had to hear "I don't want to miss a thing" every day for like 3 months. I hate that song even.
Yeah. No, that's when you talk about Cameron as well. I mean, this guy has 21 Academy Awards. Okay, 21. So he won 2 for Aliens. He won 1 for The Abyss somehow, and then he won 4 for Terminator 2 and Judgment Day, and then he won 11 for Titanic, and then 3 for Avatar. So this is a dude who's just collecting trophies. Like the way LeBron wants to, he's already doing this.
The one for The Abyss, I think he got an Oscar for special effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and like I said, he doesn't come out that much. Like if you look at his movie things, what he's directing himself, not producing, he just sit back, he watch everybody, and then he comes out with something totally different. That's the catch. He does stuff that's something totally different. Because when he did Avatar, it was like the superhero thing was going on. When he did Titanic, there was a lot of action going on, and he just like here. And when you do stuff like that, and the studio believe into you, and you achieve what you say you're going to do, you can do what you want. So let's see what happens with the new Avatars, because he wrapped it up. It's done, and they kind of like doing special effects and editing and all that stuff. So kind of looking forward to that. So that's the first one right there of directors that I will be doing every Sunday, just showcasing them.
Oh, I what Tony Man just said to ask me about the dude running like the liquid metal Terminator. There's in East Hartford, Connecticut. I went to see the Terminator 2 at this theater. It's called Buster's Pub and Cinema, and it's kind of like it's similar to what the Alamo Draft House is like, where it's like tables inside. There's a bar in the back, so you can get beer, popcorn, chicken wings, burgers, whatever you want to eat at the table. And so we watched Terminator 2, and afterwards, I guess one of the guys, I'm assuming he was drunk, maybe he was just high spirited. But he started running down Main Street, East Hartford, like the cop from Terminator 2 after the movie.
Okay. A lot going on.
Those are my childhood memories. I don't know about y'all.
So, what's your thoughts on the Matrix 4? Because they still, actually, I think they wrapped it up. And a lot of the original cast is back. One of the directors is back. I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. Well, he doesn't go by that now, but I forgot.
Oh, the Wachowskis?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have transitioned. They are the Wachowski sisters.
Yep.
Oh, it's both of them. I thought it was just one.
Nope. Lana
It's
and
both.
Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lana and Lily.
Yeah. Well, I think it's Lily, the taller one.
Oh, I don't know what they look like.
Oh, okay. Well, the taller one, he's the one who's making this one right here, and it's they're done with the shooting. So I'm looking forward to it because I'm seeing how they're gonna revise this and repackage it, but keep it the same for this new generation that really don't have attention span. Like I don't see how it's gonna work. These guys now just attention span is gone.
I would disagree. I think Generation Z has a very good attention span. They talk about movies that like when you in their spaces, they like a lot of older, slow burn movies. Millennials, they can have attention span issues, and
That's what I'm talking about.
Actually, Generation X, we were the first ones that they complained about our attention span, and they blamed it on Sesame Street and MTV because Sesame Street, all the segments were 3 minutes long, and MTV had the short videos. So they used to say Generation X has a short attention span.
Please, we stayed outside all day and was creative.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was not outside all day. I was glued to it.
Hide and seek, and you might not get found. So that means you got a lot of
Yeah. We was making clubhouses. We were making go cars. You know what I'm saying? We was being creative with games. We was doing all this stuff. So yeah.
But I'm just saying, all the things that the younger generation gets painted as doing is the same thing we got painted as doing. They called us slackers, said we had a short attention span, and whoever writes these pieces are doing the same thing to the next generation.
Yeah.
So I don't always go with that.
Yeah, this is low key hating. That's what that is.
Yeah, it is. Because they're on it. There's your daughter's generation. That's the one that's really on it. Generation Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
There was a 9-year-old that called into NPR and asked them how come they don't discuss this topic and that topic anymore. I'm like, why are you listening to NPR, number one, at 9 years old? And then you picked up the phone and called in to criticize them for what they should be talking about more. Generation Alpha is on. They came to this world already knowing some stuff. I'm convinced of it. Or they've been here before.
But that's the thing, though. When it comes to that, it's unfortunate that it's not a majority of them doing what that child did. Mm-hmm. And they have the access. Like right now, they have basically a computer that's connected to the internet that they can do and bring them information.
Yes.
YouTube is platform, which I call it a free college. And so on, but
yeah, so it makes sense. It makes sense for them to be on top of things way earlier than we were. Because I can still remember one of my cousins was calling me on the phone. She was writing a paper, and I had a set of encyclopedias. And so she would call me on the phone, and I would go through the encyclopedia and read to her what
encyclopedia.
Yeah, Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah. Okay.
And now you just could Google everything. It's like,
well, too, and it's also the parents, because the parents, a lot of times I see them out at the restaurant, and the parents just give them a phone and say, here. And then the parents talk, and so the kids sit there just going, okay, let me learn about this. All right, let me learn about that. And so you see parents using the cell phone as kind of like a, if they didn't buy them their own cell phone, they're giving it to them like a toy.
They're pacifying them.
Yeah. I think that they should definitely, they should talk to their child about what they see on the internet and how to identify a peer reviewed research project versus a blog of, some I don't want to say conspiracy because some conspiracy theories are true. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like to wear my tin. I like to wear my
yeah,
little foil hat once in a blue.
Yeah, but teaching your children to identify BS on the internet. Because, I mean, our generation, we already have this issue on Facebook. I know you've been on Facebook and seen one of your aunties share an article that it's not even CNN. It's CNN.ws.xyz. It's not even the real CNN. But your aunties don't know it's not the real CNN, so they share the article.
Yeah.
I wonder if the kids automatically know that, or is that something that parents need to talk to their children about? They probably already know that. I don't know.
I think the only thing when it comes to this generation now that I salute them on is the writing and the reading, because they texting a lot, they writing a lot.
Oh, yes.
Interacting with computers, so they're starting to type at an early age and writing full sentence, not run-on sentences and stuff like that. I give them that because where I work at, I see it a lot. And I'm like, wow, I see kids that look at me, but they're typing 50 words a minute. And
they type super fast. And they read fast too. Like if you ever try to go on TikTok, I have to pause the TikTok video to read what's written there. But Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they don't have to pause it. They read that fast. Be a whole paragraph of text there and they just read it.
Yeah. So I'll definitely say that they're a little bit, stuff like that. But you know what though? I definitely enjoy this live stream. Again, we was talking about sci-fi movies, stuff like that, where I definitely appreciate you guys participating. Vega Bomber, as always, appreciate you coming through. Lady Sasha, as always, I love your energy. Definitely passionate and very knowledgeable on some of the stuff that you be talking about, or majority of the stuff, all the stuff you talk about.
Thank you.
And we gotta do this again. So every Sunday, let me do this real quick. Let's see if I can find this. First of all, let's get this going. If you're watching, please subscribe.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, please subscribe.
Yes,
It's definitely needed. And again, anybody who want to come on this platform that's watching, you are welcome to discuss things, join the conversation, and I'm here. So with that being said, I am about to close this live stream, and I will be in contact with you guys, and I'll be working on my next topic for next Sunday. Again, I definitely appreciate it.
That's awesome.
See you later. Peace.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.